Welcome to Mindshock. This is your host, Bruce McGuire, and you are listening to Mindshock Live Q&A 21. This is the 21st General Live Q&A where anything goes. Any questions from the chat will be taken. Got a lot to go over. I'm sure people want to talk about the LA fires. What's going on in LA? The city of angels, or the city of fallen angels, whatever you want to call it. A lot to go over there. As always, if you want to help support the podcast, help logic and reason return to a world where it is quickly going extinct, as no doubt Sea Lion Prime in the chat right now will prove. You can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, Patreon. Patreon is a good priority for case, topic, logical analysis, co-podcast requests. You could also be a guest on the podcast depending on your tier. Questions, comments, theories, thoughts, suggestions, rebuttals, debunkings of any kind, leave them in the comment section. Unless, of course, you are with us here live. Drop them in the live chat, and I'll try to get to each and every one. If the notifications are not showing up for you on YouTube, you could also join the Patreon free tier, and those notifications always seem to work. You could also support the channel by becoming a YouTube member right here on YouTube. Alright, welcome everyone here. We got Lord Zed in the house here. Justin Johnson. I am Ion's cat, Flat Bob. And of course, South to West, and we got a new goof in here, Sea Lion Prime. So I got a story to tell. If anybody follows the Twitter, Austin Whitsitt triggers a lot of goofs, a lot of scientism cultists who are functionally illiterate in both basic English and, of course, logic. And there were a couple of goofs, like 2 or 3 goofs, like Sea Lion Prime here, going by a different name on Twitter. By the way, the mods in here, don't mute him, or at least not yet. If he can be civil, we can have a little bit of a discussion to open this up. But anyway, as everybody knows, I do have a book coming out on the Dunning-Kruger effect and society, so sometimes I do research on Twitter. I gather information, because a lot of these scientism cultist bootlickers, I like to see their cope spirals. And yes, sometimes I egg them on a little bit. I sink to their level. I laugh and mock their goofery just to see exactly how they spiral. And their cope spirals are pretty hilarious, but there's many commonalities. When a triggered goof who is allergic to logic and reason melts down, there's very key similarities. They melt down in the same way. So this Sea Lion Prime goof, the goof actually, so they got triggered. I don't know if it was him or one of the other goofs who actually had to block on Twitter, because this other goof, not Sea Lion Prime, but this other goof, he must have tweeted hundreds of times today, humiliating himself. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like a Craig altar, but this goof has just this extreme fetish for humiliating himself, demonstrating that he's not even on a preschool English level. So one of these goofs got triggered and said Austin was lying about aviation documents and manuals mentioning a flat stationary Earth. Now, obviously, there's many of them. I copy-pasted some links that I found before. They're no longer online, but obviously anybody who's not brain dead, they could just go on Wayback Machine. But instead of doing that, some of these goofs spiraled for literally hours on end with these fetishes for humiliating themselves. Yeah, Sea Lion Prime, I didn't block you because I wasn't afraid that you were going to self-harm yourself. The other guy, I mean, clearly, that other goof, just absolutely, just no dignity. I mean, to sink that much, clearly demonstrating not even a preschool English level, and just the projection cope off the chart. The documents clearly make reference to flat stationary Earth in various contexts. Now, obviously, goofs like Sea Lion Prime, they don't know what context is. So they didn't understand that. So it's pretty hilarious, but anybody could check out the cope spirals. I mean, these are marathon cope spirals from these goofs. I literally have to thank them at the end of my book, I have to give credit to them because all my data on cope spirals is, I mean, it's thanks to these goofs. I mean, their cope spirals are just seemingly never ending. Nothing but projection and hallucinations and straw men pretending I said something was a flight manual. I mean, they don't even know the definitions of basic words like aviation, manual. I mean, just nothing. And obviously, Sea Lion Prime here projecting again, continuing his cope spiral. It wasn't exclusively pilot manuals. Again, you're demonstrating your complete illiteracy in English. So, I mean, these goofs don't even know what the word or means, O-R. and the goof is challenging me to debate, like as if these toddlers are challenging adults to boxing matches and then crying and coping, like Sea Lion Prime is here when the adult refuses to take up the toddler in the boxing match. You want me to show the document? All right, if the rest of the chat is interested in the receipts, because obviously Sea Lion Prime is too brain dead to actually use the internet, because the amount of hours these goofs spent spiraling on Twitter, they could have already hired a tutor and learned how to use the internet and have already seen the documents. I will let the chat decide. If you want to see the documents, I will pull them up on the screen. Well, first, okay, so if you don't understand what the word or means, O-R, Sea Lion Prime, because from everything you posted, you demonstrated you don't know what the word or means. So you went on Wayback Machine and you checked all of them? Because if you already looked at them, you'll see that they have reference to a flat plane. Now, that doesn't mean they think the world is flat. Again, you were too brain dead to understand that, because I didn't make the claim that the Earth was flat, but you and the other brain dead goof were hallucinating that I was a flat earther, because you're just that illiterate. Because I didn't even make a claim to the shape of the Earth, nor did I claim that the writers of the documents and manuals believe a particular model. The point was that either you or the other brain-dead goof were pretending that no such words appear in any aviation documents or manuals, etc. Now, and also the strawman and cope, just the pure cope that you spiraled with, as if I was claiming that there aren't flight manuals out there that refer to a globular Earth. Again, functionally illiterate in both English and logic. Otherwise, you wouldn't have cope spiraled that. Uh-oh, Sarah's refrigerator broke. All right, Justin wants to see the documents. All right, yeah, we could bring him up. I mean, this isn't particularly a Flat Earth Q&A, but if everybody wants to see them, we could do that. Everybody here on Mindshock knows I always bring the receipts. I mean, when goofs demonstrate that they're completely illiterate, then I'm not really interested in hand-holding them with how to use the internet, because they're not going to understand anything in the documents anyway. But if everybody other than Sea Lion Prime wants to see them, Big Pine Sailing says, desperate for attention like a child on Thanksgiving. I mean, if anybody, because Sea Lion Prime has already demonstrated that the goof is functionally illiterate. You're a mathematician? Well, clearly you skipped all your English class. You don't know what the word or means. So if everybody else wants to see government documents, aviation-related documents, I mean, you don't even know what the word instrument means. I mean, come on. If everybody else wants to see government documents, I mean, I'd rather go over them on a Flat Earth podcast specifically, but if everybody else wants to see them, and wants to see Sea Lion Prime humiliated and sent away with his tail tucked between his legs, like the goof he is, well, again, you're demonstrating you don't know what the word instrument means. You think instrument only has one definition? That's how brain dead you are? Oh, man, that's funny. Wait, so it was you who made that initial post? Because there were 3 goofs spiraling. One of them was totally mentally gone, bordering on self-harm, so I had to block that goof. Sea Lion Prime was not that goof. But there was also one other guy cope spiraling. Okay, so Sea Lion Prime was the originator of the tweet. Okay. Well, I said Sea Lion Prime. You're the goof crying for attention. If everybody else wants to see, then I will show. Yeah, I mean, I'm not interested in contributing to people's self harm. I know that's a foreign concept to you, Sea Lion Prime, because you obviously have no morality or literacy of any kind. But moral people don't want to be responsible for the self harm of others. Yeah, I mean, well, the goof already demonstrated he wasn't even on a preschool reading level. So at that point, I mean, I mean, I was just gathering data for my book on the Dunning-Kruger effect. But yeah, no, I can't. Morally, I can't be responsible for contributing to people's self-harm. All right, so does anybody else want to see these documents, these government documents referencing a flat and stationary Earth? Okay, Saddlebum wants to see it. Harry Key, are you that brain dead give? I'm not a flat earther, you moron. Oh man, no shortage of brain dead gives. Okay, Southwest wants to see it. Okay. So, since everybody else wants to see Sea Lion Prime get humiliated, let's do, I'll bring up his tweet here. I mean, Austin Whitsit's really good at bringing these gifts out of the woodwork. Alright, so here is the tweet. Do you have a source on Whitsit's statement that you claimed was a lie, by the way? Because that's your response to it. If we're being comprehensive. I'm only going to spend about 5 minutes on this because we have actual real stuff to go over. But but it's always fun exposing the scientism cultists. And then I will show my response. Now, yes, this is one of the only times I actually posted links that weren't currently live. Because again, when you're dealing with these illiterate folks, they're not going to comprehend it anyway. Because if they're that dumb, they can't even use Wayback Machine. I mean, it's almost like a test. Because if they're that dumb, then there's really no point. There's no way to have any kind of meaningful dialogue or discussion, as the goof is proving in the chat here. And the other goof as well, hallucinating a flat earther. They don't know what claims are. They don't know what arguments are. They don't even know what the word or means. I didn't use AI, Sea Lion Prime. Again, look at these hallucinations. False premise fallacies, just outright lies and hallucinations because you're that triggered in your cope spiral, you have to pretend people are using AI. Because just because you're too dumb to use the internet to search, that doesn't mean other people are that dumb. Some people actually know how to use Google. Wow. I mean, how old are you? You're a mathematician and you're basically functionally and logically illiterate? You think just because you're too dumb to use search engines, that means other people are too dumb. The links were broken because I compiled this years ago, dummy. Are you really that brain dead? You think links stay up forever? Oh man, Sea Lion Prime is the gift that keeps on giving here. The Dunning-Kruger stylings are just hilarious. Now, they're really funny until they get sad. Now, Sea Lion Prime here, again, it seems like there's no risk of self-harm here, so he won't be blocked or booted. But, some of the other people, they had some serious mental health issues. Yeah, I've actually never used AI to get links. I actually have a custom AI I built for logical analysis at Sea Lion Prime. You can check it out on the AI analyses on here. I've actually never... You really want to not get booted saying that I'm a gaslighting coward for pointing out objective facts? You're that triggered, you have to pretend somebody's gaslighting? You just claimed with no evidence that I used AI. You just claimed with no evidence and then projected that other people are gaslighting because you're gaslighting. Well, if you just keep flat out lying, you are going to get booted because there's really no reason for anybody to put up with just flat out lying cowards like yourself. You made the positive claim. Do you not know what a claim is? Are you that brain dead? Well, everybody else wanted to see the document, so I'll put it. I'll put up the link, the screenshots real quick. So here is this goofs, and you still didn't answer the question. What is the source? What source do you have for Witsit? So this was the response here in terms of what Witsit is lying about. Here's a really easy one. Maybe you want to go on record right now and admit that there does not exist a single flight manual or instrument manual used to train pilots that uses the phrase flat and stationary in reference to the Earth. I know, I checked. So automatically you know this guy is a brain dead goof, because how could he check every single flight manual, instrument manual, anything related to aviation involving pilots? Out of all the hundreds, this goof's hallucinating to have checked every single one. I mean, just the level of goofery right off the bat from these scientism cultists. Sea Lion Priam says, yes, I had someone check dozens of documents. Who? Who is this someone? Your imaginary friend? Okay, so you checked dozens of manuals. Okay, that's not zero if that's true. Now, if you don't understand basic English or how to use search within the document, then obviously you wouldn't have found flat and stationary anywhere. Now, you were gaslighting and hallucinating that there was some kind of a claim. So I'll put up my response here, which I knew it was going to trigger the brain dead goofs. That's why I didn't care that the links were broken, because it was kind of like a good test to see how people would respond. So there's a couple here. Links are actually cut off here, but I'll bring them all up in a second. Now, these are obviously documents involved with aviation and pilots. Now, obviously, to cope, Sea Lion Prime has to pretend and spam these etymological fallacies, pretending that a flight manual is the only aviation-related document. Because what is the context here? The context is official documentation from the government involving flat and stationary, involving aviation and pilots. Now, what is Austin's claim? Do you have the receipt for Austin's original claim? Because if you're not, then you're just gaslighting here. Well, you don't know what an instrument is. An instrument has many... Are you that brain dead? You think an instrument only has one definition? There is a generic definition for instrument. Again, if you're that illiterate, you don't understand the context of aviation, pilots, government documentation, manuals. I never said you said something about the government. Again, you're proving how illiterate you are with each comment. I'm going to give you 3 more minutes here before we're going to be done with this, but just as a Dunning-Kruger demonstration for all of the listeners here. They are related to that. We'll bring it up right now. And the thing with a lot of these Dunning-Kruger groups are they're like marionettes. Like, you pull their strings and they just don't stop dancing, demonstrating their their mental deficiency and getting triggered. Like, all their cope hallucinations and projections. It's just so funny because all these goofs melting down, they all melt down in roughly the same way. Got a little bit of lag here, but yeah, I'll bring it up. Just give me a second. So again, do you know what the FAA is? Or is that a bridge too far for you? The FAA involved in aviation, pilots, flight instruments. Is the FAA involved in this in any way? Because if you're just going to go with etymological fallacy and appeals to extreme logical fallacies, cherry-picking logical fallacies, diversion, and red herring logical fallacy stack, if that's all you have, I mean, it's not surprising based on your literacy level, but if all you have is this logical fallacy stack to cope, you don't even understand the context of anything being said. By the way, do you have the source on what Wits had said yet or no? You still haven't come up with the source on that? Still no source? Oh, man. Okay, so it looks like it was online up until 2022, so I guess I pulled it somewhere around there. Or maybe a little earlier, actually. Maybe was it 2019, actually. Might have been 2019. So Flat Earth started rolling out around 2015-ish. Somewhere around there, I guess. Maybe it was earlier, actually. Let's see. Oh, it might have been earlier. Might have been 2018. Oh, might have been earlier than that. Huh, interesting. Okay. So, let me do a screenshot. Here of the first document. A little bit of lag on the stream, so just bear with me. Okay, so... Alright, this is going to take a little longer than a couple minutes, but since everybody wants to see it, we can go over it. Alright, so this is document 1 before we get into the document. Yeah, obviously it's a simulation, but it's a simulation with, again, I know a lot of goofs don't know how to read here. So this is training pilots to interact, or traffic controllers, and allowing simulation pilots to interact with the aircraft. Realistic representations of their real-life counterparts. So the aircraft's performing the way air traffic controllers would expect them to behave in the real national airspace system. So according to the FAA, again, I don't know if these goofs know what the FAA is, but this is representative of the actual national airspace. Everything is as it is in real life. So, no, Sea Lion Prime, again, do you not stream on YouTube? Like, it took a little longer to bring this up because of the lag. I'll bring them all up. So it took an extra 10 seconds. Yeah, it took me a couple seconds to highlight in the red because you're functionally illiterate. So do you know what realistic representations of real-life counterparts mean? Do you know what that means? You don't know anything about this? Well, so you don't think that simulations are used for training? I mean, again, when you're this functionally illiterate, well, why would I bring you on to be illiterate? If you haven't even demonstrated you're on a preschool English level, like, what do you want to do? Come on and just stream profanity and get triggered and melt down like you did on Twitter all day? Yeah, Evil Alaska, we're going to get to the LA fires right after this. Right after this, we're getting to the LA fires. We gotta finish exposing Sea Lion Prime's Dunning-Kruger stylings. It literally says here that, so you don't know what simulations are for. So you don't know that simulations are used for training. So you think they just throw people right into the real life scenario? Oh man, that's hilarious. Oh man. Alright, hold on. Let's look at the actual document here. There is a little bit of lag. And I have all these actually set up for a specific episode, but since Sea Lion Prime took the time out of his day to humiliate himself for our amusement, I will bring them up now. But that's the overview here. Now let's see if there's actually any kind of reference to flat and stationary. I actually don't have the links. I actually had the whole document saved, but I don't have them on here, but that's going to take me an extra couple seconds to get it. So this document was 2012, actually. There's actually 15 documents I had here. This would be the 16th. Yeah, this would actually be the 16th. Yeah, I'll do a whole episode where I go over all of them. But there's quite a few. Again, a lot of the basic literacy issues of simulations clear. So according to the FAA, the simulation is directly representative of real world scenario. That's what they say. That doesn't mean they believe the Earth is flat, but that's the phrase in the documentation. I should have saved these, organized it a little bit better, because I have a bunch of documents here. They're not specific to flight manuals. But again, obviously I didn't spend a lot of time on triggering the GIFs here. Actually, there's also foreign government documents here in my saved links here. There's also a video some guy made with 44 documents. I guess I'm assuming none of these GIFs have read them. Could kind of go through. I don't feel like going through all 44 of these. Just want to get to mine. Yeah, for some reason... Okay, wait a second. Got 50 more documents here. They're mostly NASA documents for some... Okay, here's, that's an interesting CIA document. Huh. That's really interesting. There's also a flight actually, here's another one. Man, there's actually quite a lot. There's a lot more than I posted. Wow. So now you're hallucinating to know what I actually found another 44 documents, dummy. You're the brain dead bootlicker sheep projecting how much of a sheep you are. Yes, I'm so desperately searching to bring up something that I didn't have prepped here. So you're that brain dead. You don't think simulations are used for training? Oh man. See, this is why you're not getting a mic on the podcast, because if you're that brain dead and functionally illiterate, keep projecting how much of a sheep you are. You're that triggered, huh? I'm indulging your goofery here instead of booting you, because it's so watching Dunning-Kruger meltdowns are so hilarious. Yeah, I did have the documents up on my hard drive. Obviously, the link didn't link to them. And I never claimed to be extremely well organized. I have a few thousand folders here. Yeah, for some reason I had it specific to government documents. And it must have not saved, but I'll get them anyway. Obviously. Alright, it's on page 32. Alright, hold on. Get it. Anybody want to predict the cope of this goof once I put it on the screen? Oh man, this is gonna be funny. Alright, so it's on page 32. Alright, I'm downloading a backup copy of it, but it is on page 32. So who's predicting the cope of this goof once I post it? Oh man. I'll have it up in a couple seconds. I'm just highlighting the relevant portions for the functionally illiterate. Because remember, the goof was claiming that flat Earth doesn't appear. Now you're pretending to know that I'm reading this for the first time. That's the level of hallucination you're bringing to the table. I had the file on my hard drive and I couldn't find it quickly, so I had to re-download it from an archive. If you knew how to use the internet, you would know that that's not instant in 1 second. Then I had to screenshot and highlight it. I want to get the page number in here too. If you claimed 1 + 1 is 5, and it took me an additional minute to demonstrate that it's 2, that makes it invalid because it took an additional minute. Oh man, your mental disability is hilarious. I mean, are you guys like, are you just like Craig Alters? Like you get off on humiliating yourself to this level? It's kind of weird. Like you have that, you have no life, that you just, all you do is indulge your humiliation fetish. Do you know what the FAA is or no? Seems like you don't know what it's all about. Because you're claiming this isn't related to pilots, aviation, flight. Isn't that your cope? You're claiming none of this is related. You're that brain dead, you think simulations aren't used in training pilots. Oh, man. Okay. Almost got it. Alright. This is going to be quite amusing. Alright, once again, this is on page 32 of the engineering analysis and design of the aircraft dynamics model for the FAA Target Generation Facility. Once again, if you don't know what the FAA is, then you'll have a hard time with comprehending any of this. So if you don't know the definition of aviation or pilot, then you'll be melting down in the chat like Sea Lion Prime. Yeah, I mean, this is basic stuff. Engineering and design involving aviation and pilots. I mean, look at the goalpost shifting from the bootlicking goose. Alright, so here we go. So this is engineering analysis and design of their aircraft dynamics model for the FAA target generation. Again, what is the FAA? If you don't know what the FAA is, then you're going to have responses like Sea Lion Prime here. Anyway, the phrase of flat Earth, assuming flat Earth. Aircraft equations of motions were calculated assuming a flat Earth. Aircraft flat Earth dynamics. Now, obviously, these goofs can pretend this has nothing to do with aviations or pilots or flying. Do you know who flies a plane? No? It's a pilot. That's the definition of pilot. So if these goofs don't even know the definition of pilot, aircraft, aviation, then they're going to be behaving exactly as they are. That's why I didn't bother to have live links. Simulations are used for training. Again, if you don't know what a simulation is, again, basic English deficiency. Oh, man. Last warning on the profanity. Obviously, brain dead goofs that are exposed and spiraling. Notice how the most brain dead goofs can only spew profanity and fallacies in their cope spirals. Again, these are all highlighted on the screen. If you want me to keep going, I can go through all of them. Clearly, the phrase flat earth appears in many of these aviation documents. Obviously, all relating to aviation, flight, pilots, etc. But these goofs, they have to cling desperately to their etymological fallacies, goalpost shifting fallacies, strawman fallacies. You still haven't provided a source for Austin's claim. What was his claim about flat earth appearing in aviation documentation? What was the claim? I'm still waiting. There's no claim. There's no receipt for that claim. No, Omnivore, it was the general topic of aviation and pilots. You goofs are pretending there was a conflation because you don't understand basic fallacies or basic English, even. Again, I already cited the fallacies a second ago. If it's too hard, feel free to get a tutor or just spiral. Omnivore, it's literally on the screen. Realistic representation of real-life counterparts. Expected to behave in the real national airspace. I mean, it's right highlighted on the screen. I mean, are you really that brain dead? You don't understand basic English? Again, or don't even know what a simulation is. Why would I give the mic to somebody not on a preschool English level? Oh, these gifts are hilarious. Wow. Okay, well, let's keep going. Let's go to the next document. I mean, next they're going to say the Air Force doesn't involve pilots. I mean, the brain dead gift for here is hilarious. Do you guys even know what the Air Force is? Oh, man. All right, let's move on. So you don't know what the FAA is or aircraft? I mean, do you not know what the Air Force is either? Well, we can go to the NASA. I think one of the goofs actually posted the NASA document themselves, proving the point. It's always hilarious when these Dunning-Kruger goofs prove the points against themselves, but they're too brain dead to realize they just did that, so then they just cope spiral. Oh man, I hope everybody's finding this amusing. So let's move on to next. There's actually like a whole bunch. There's like 15 NASA documents, but I'll just go over the one I posted. On another episode, maybe we'll go over all. There's several dozen government documents, both also international documents as well, mentioning these mentioning flat Earth, flat and stationary. But look at the cope spirals at the brain dead bootlickers. They just can't handle that official government documentations mentions flat Earth, that they have to cling desperately to these fallacies to pretend it's not directly related with aviation, flight training, pilots, etc. Yes, Omnivore, you're making the same mistake over and over and over again with your fallacies in English literacy. Again, you're pretending I didn't look at these before. I looked at the ones I posted. I have not looked at the other 44, or maybe some of them. But I had these saved on the drive, and the old URLs is what I was posting. I didn't use AI like you trying to gaslight everybody as you projected. If you're just going to, again, false premise and lie, you're getting booted. Alright, that was the final warning. That goof's gone. Just spamming pure lies and hallucinations is not going to get you anywhere, goof. Omnivore, you don't even understand what aviation is or official documents. Imagine thinking you're educating somebody when you don't even understand preschool level English. Oh man, Omnivore is even funnier than the other Sea Lion Prime goof. Oh man, this is hilarious. Well, for all the listeners that wanted to actually see all the government documents mentioning flat Earth, I'll put the rest of them up. The other goof just can't comment. He could still, Sea Lion Prime can still watch his decimation here. And yeah, it's going to take me another couple seconds to bring this up because I want certain things on the screen and highlighted. Alright, what page was this on? So there's a few military and Air Force documents as well. We'll go over the NASA document first, then we can go over the Air Force document. Again, Omnivore, it's right on the screen. Realistic representations of their real life counterparts. Are you too brain dead to understand any of those words? You think you can educate somebody when you're not even on a preschool English level? Oh man. Omnivore's in a new cope spiral, trying to upstage the other goof. These Dunning-Kruger championships are so hilarious. Man, if it wasn't for Flat Earth, we wouldn't get this level of entertainment from these goofs. Are you still projecting? You're that resistant to getting a tutor to understand preschool level English? Oh man, that's funny. Alright, let's focus here. Yeah, I don't have a page number here, so I'm gonna have to scroll through this for a second. The PDF document isn't, let's see. I think someone screenshotted this, but I'll do it myself to make sure it's the same document. Man, this is a long document. Alright, here's what I'll do. I'll just post the screenshot. Oh, okay, hold on. It's page 11. It's page 11. 1391. Oh, it's not even here. Alright, let's do this. Alright, I don't feel like spending a ton of time on this, so I will give... I'll just go all 14 with the exact page numbers. And then everybody could look it up if they want to, and then I could do an episode where I can go over all of them specifically. So this is everything from missiles to aircraft. So again, this is just referencing flat Earth. Again, despite these brain-dead goofs hallucinating that I'm claiming a flat Earth, or I'm claiming that they believe it's a flat Earth, despite the phrase flat Earth in their documentations, that's obviously not the case, because all they can do is spam fallacies to cope. as they've been doing this whole time in the chat, perfectly illustrating that, but being too clueless to realize it. All right, so all the URLs are here. Once again, these are way more documents than I cited before. We could just go over them real quick. So this is aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over flat, non-rotating Earth. Aircraft flying over flat, non-rotating Earth. Nonlinear equations of motions are 6-degree of freedom equations with stationary atmosphere and flat, non-rotating Earth assumptions. The method is limited, however, to application where a flat, non-rotating Earth may be assumed. The nonlinear equations of motion used in this model are generally 6 degrees of freedom equations representing the flight dynamics of a rigid aircraft flying in a stationary atmosphere over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Lastly, the equations of motion for the 0th order problem of flight in a vacuum over a flat Earth are presented in this paper. The rigid body equations of motion over a flat, non-rotating Earth. The Earth is flat and non-rotating. The helicopter equations of motions are given in body axis with respect to a flat, non-rotating Earth. Again, who flies a helicopter? Is it a pilot? A model frequently used is that of a flat, non-rotating Earth. The equations assume a rigid flat vehicle on a flat, non-rotating Earth. For aircraft problems, the state and measurement models together represent the kinematics of a rigid body for describing motion over a flat, non-rotating Earth. Flat, non-rotating Earth. In our minimum time to climb problem, the aircraft is modeled as a point mass, and the flight trajectory is strictly confined in a vertical plane on a non-rotating flat Earth. The missile position in space is computed relative to a flat, non-rotating Earth. So clearly this phrase is repeated many, many times in relation to aviation. But these goofs are so brain dead and triggered, they have to spam all these shifting the goalpost fallacies, etymological fallacies, diversion and red herring fallacies, cherry-picking fallacies, no true Scotsman fallacies. Oh, but it's not exactly the official flight training manual that's used at this particular airport at this particular time. Just the goofery. The goofery is hilarious. Oh, now you're diverting to the 24-hour sun at the South Pole that has nothing to do with anything. Man, throwing up the white flag already. Okay. All right, I want to go over what I think I listed one more, so we can go over that one. Yeah, okay. So this is... Yeah, we'll go over one more, then we gotta get to the fires in LA and be done with these brain dead goofs spiraling. I mean, imagine not even knowing what a no true Scotsman fallacy is and thinking you're educating somebody. Not even on a preschool English level. 0 logical processing capabilities. I mean, these are the goofs you deal with when you engage in any kind of flat earth discussion. I mean, I already knew that. That's why I was just letting them be my Dunning-Kruger marionettes in their spirals. Okay, so here's the next one. Wow, this one's going all the way back to 1953. So this is, oh, it's right on page 1. So again, for the brain dead goofs, this isn't to say that the authors of these paper believe the Earth is flat. I mean, these brain dead goofs are so triggered and so obsessed with conclusions. They can't even focus long enough to understand the claim that the claim from the other goof was that the phrase does not appear. Clearly, it appears many, many times. All right, a couple more seconds. I'll throw this on the screen. I mean, just the amount of times flat Earth is measured. I mean, it's just hilarious. And these goofs, like, all they can do to cope is spam these fallacies and project. Absolutely hilarious. And so this is right on page 1. Very convenient. This is the last thing we're going over. So this is, this was on... So this is on dtic.mil. For those that don't know, that's military. So obviously these goofs don't know that. So this is atmospheric refraction errors for optical instrumentation. Here's that instrument word again. Very curious. These goofs don't know what the word instrument means. Introduction. The report makes available part of the basic work just being done by the Flight Determinator Laboratory. Yeah, I'm sure that has nothing to do with flights, aviation, or pilots. Okay, so this atmospheric refraction errors in the instrumentation of guided missiles. A comprehensive study of atmospheric refraction errors for optical instrumentation. Again, there's that word instrumentation. What is an instrument? These brain dead goofs just don't know. They just don't know. Validity of flat Earth assumption for atmospheric calculations. Relationship is correct for a flat Earth and a flat atmosphere. Okay? So, I mean, this isn't rocket science. The phrase appears in plenty of aviation documents relating to instrumentation, pilots, flight. I mean, these are all basic concepts. That other goof's having a meltdown on Twitter because he got booted. He's still spiraling. Oh man, he looks like he might have a mental health episode as well. I might have to block him. Just completely eviscerated here. These goofs just got wrecked so hard. I mean, I probably should block him. I mean, I just don't want people self-harming when they've been humiliated to this level. I mean, it's just rough. I mean, small children can understand this, and these goofs can't. I mean, the phrase clearly appears many times in all of this documentation. South to West says, these goofs never cease to amaze me. I mean, yeah, it's pretty stunning. I mean, just the level of cope. I mean, just the level of cope and denial of basic English words. They're not even on a preschool English level. This doesn't even have anything to do with whether the Earth is flat or not, but to hallucinate that the terms flat Earth do not appear in any kind of aviation related documentation of any kind. I mean, that's just hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. I mean, these goofs cope. Wow. Truth Trollette says, it's simplified, yet what would happen if they actually applied a rotating Earth with curvature to it? Completely miss the landing or bury the aircraft short of the landing? Or what would happen with the missiles being launched? I mean, they're launched at pretty high speeds. Again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue. The brain dead goofs have to pretend I am, but I mean, the only thing I'm claiming is that these terms appear in all of these aviation documents, aviation and instrumentation documents. Omnivore projecting how dumb he is in the chat. What else we got here? Justin Johnson says, land on a north to south runway while being dragged 1,000 miles an hour is sideways. Yeah, a lot of issues there. I mean, we're gonna get off flat Earth in a second. It was just hilarious, just eviscerating these brain dead goofs because they wanted the receipts here because they were too brain dead to actually go on Wayback Machine to actually look at this. I mean, it didn't take me that long. It took me what, like a couple extra minutes, 5-10 extra minutes. And they were spiraling for hours, humiliating themselves on Twitter. They're still going. They're still going right now on Twitter. Oh, it's hilarious. So funny. So funny. Okay. So are we done here? Everybody has seen that all of these instrumentation and aviation documents related to flight, pilots, missiles, all these things, they clearly use the phrase flat Earth many times over. There's actually a few dozen other documents. We're obviously not going to go over all of them, but this should suffice to complete the evisceration of these goofs. Okay. I mean, think about how pathetic these goofs are. They're just full-time fetishists in just humiliation. They have to be online 24/7 proving they can't comprehend anything while melting down over flat earthers. Because if they didn't have mental health issues, they would just think flat earthers are dumb. Why would they be spending any time on it? I mean, look at Omnivore. He's still cope spiraling in here. Because if everybody here is that dumb for the flat earthers in the chat, or if I'm that dumb, I mean, why would this goof even be in here melting down? Why would he be putting his time and energy here? I mean, just really proves the point of the mental health issues. All right, so we are done here. Let's go to the LA fires. That's what everybody is talking about. It's also funny, a lot of people claiming climate change on that. It's like, it's interesting because it's like they've never heard of arson. Never heard of HARP. So let's give Omnivore, I'm going to give the goof a 5-minute timeout, and then if he wants to come back and engage in a different subject while not humiliating himself, then that will be fine. Okay. So everybody is here. I think everybody wants to go over the fires. Lord Zed says, I watched Van Damme in The Order with my parents the other day. All right. Okay. So, yeah, let's see what Alex Jones has to say about the fires.
Unable to fly due to a temporary flight restriction put in place because President Biden is in town. But this is an incredible view of what it looks like from above.
And they've been talking about this flight control since yesterday afternoon. And here we are the next day. There's the flight restriction map on screen for TV viewers. And it's funny to them. And you're like, well, they're just idiots. No, they're not.
Flying right over that thing. Wow. The whole entire hills are on fire. Holy shit. Oh my God.
TV viewer, these are images shot in the morning hours as a plane came into Los Angeles. Large areas of the city on fire.
KTLA photographer Paul Sanchez, as he's giving us an aerial perspective to the devastation in the Palisades. Sky 5 unable to fly due to a temporary flight restriction put in place because President Biden is in town. But this is an incredible view of what it looks like from above.
Yeah, we will have more in terms of an aerial perspective, we believe, tomorrow once the sun comes up and we begin to get a good measure of the level of devastation here. But if you've been watching the coverage, you can deduce, frankly, dozens and dozens and dozens of homes in the Palisades area have been lost. The Palisades Village under siege tonight. Homes along PCH, along the beach, gone as well. One of two communities under siege tonight. Altadena struggling as well, as we saw moments ago. Entire neighborhoods burning, rows and rows of homes from a fire that is spread out of Eaton Canyon into the neighborhoods of Altadena.
So if you're a TV viewer, you can see what I'm showing from C-SPAN just an hour or so ago. Biden is in California, the zombie, the crypt keeper, and he's sitting there with Air Force One, all the rest of the aircraft that follow him around, a bunch of presidential Ospreys, you name it. And he's just sitting there today, and they're impeding any of the emergency air traffic aircraft, that's on the news, still, from going in and fighting the fires while the airplane sits there. every administrative thing they can do. Like Nero reportedly sat and watched Rome burn after he started the fires because he wanted to expand his palace. That's on record in the Roman histories. Is being done now, but commercial flights are allowed to fly. So the news had to get up and take flights to other cities because their emergency choppers, everything is not allowed to be in the air because his lordship is there. If Trump was there, obviously the president, he would have instantly lifted the flight ban, but Biden doesn't give a crap. And they've been talking about this flight control since yesterday afternoon. And here we are the next day. There's the flight restriction map on screen for TV viewers. And it's funny to them. And you're like, well, they're just idiots. No, they're not. Pulled the insurance for most people in the area 2 months ago. Won't release the water from the reservoirs for decades and still doing it. Everybody freaking out. No water for the firefighters. The fire hydrants went dry yesterday. On and on and on. Hospitals being evacuated everywhere. People dying. People burning up in their homes. Firefighters aren't really seen anywhere. Got their new DEI. I'm a lesbian. My main job is getting lesbians in here and women. They know exactly what they're doing. And folks on X were saying, weird enough that Biden shows up to LA on another plane besides Air Force One to dedicate a couple of monuments in Riverside. But he also has VIP NOTAMs in place, impeding water tanker planes in certain areas. Things that make you go, we are running massive flash sales right now for just the next 4 days at the AlexJonesStore.com. On Wednesday, the big sweepstakes on the amazing off-road Ford Trimmer.
I mean, that's looking pretty post-apocalyptic, is it not? I mean, this is crazy stuff. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's just, I mean, this is pretty crazy. This is pretty crazy. I actually lived in LA for a while. I don't remember anything even remotely like that. I actually don't remember any fires in the immediate LA area while I was there. It was always up somewhere in the wooded, more wooded areas, not super close to the city. Let me bring up another video here, which is also pretty crazy. I mean, it just looks like an absolute post-apocalyptic hellscape. I mean, look at this. I mean, this looks like an absolute post-apocalyptic hellscape. I mean, this is Los Angeles? I mean, this is right out of a post-apocalyptic movie. I mean, look at this. Yeah, Alex Jones does look way different. We'll get back to Alex Jones in a moment. I have another clip we have to watch on he has kind of a meltdown regarding Elon Musk. We have to watch that. But look at this. I mean, this looks like a post-apocalyptic film in LA. I mean, look at this. I mean, everything, something just laid waste to a large portion of Los Angeles. And obviously this looks like the Lahaina fires. Is this direct energy weapons? Again, I'm not claiming anything is true or untrue like the brain dead goofs, but I mean, it's just curious how you have that kind of building right next to another building. Same thing in Lahaina. I mean, look at these charred out cars. I mean, this is just weird. I mean, there's fires that go to residential neighborhoods. They look nothing like this. Then you have complete ruins right next to untouched houses. I mean, this is kind of crazy. You have complete ruins next to an untouched building. I mean, if this really was like a fast-spreading fire, I mean, that tree isn't even affected. Is that a bush behind those ruins completely unaffected? What is that? Let's see here. I mean, that reminds me of the Lahaina fire where you had there was even a building with not a single charred blade of grass right next to complete charred ruins. Complete burned out husks of cars that were solid steel. I mean, it's crazy. Like engine blocks melted down. I mean, now I'm not alleging that this is the same thing here as in Lahaina. I'm not even alleging what it is. It's just weird how this has never happened in modern history before. And goofs are saying climate change. Oh no, the temperature, the adjusted temperature went up 1/1000th of a degree. That means there's going to be mass fires, melting down engine blocks. I mean, just the level of goofery from the authority-worshipping cultists that just buy whatever the climate grifters say. Because back in the 70s, it was like global cooling. It was supposed to be an ice age. Now, all of a sudden, it's supposed to be heating up. So, yeah, I mean, it's just so curious in a lot of this footage. Because if this really is some kind of just absolutely incredible fire, and then you have complete bushes and trees here, they don't even look singed, right next to absolute ruins. I mean, look, this is like steel beams getting burned through here, and then you have untouched bushes. Untouched bushes right next to it. What does everybody make of this? What does everybody make of this? Christopher Allen says the blue umbrellas at Lahaina are not touched. Yeah, it's pretty weird. Supposedly, if these are direct energy weapons, there's some kind of frequencies, for whatever reason, they didn't target the blue spectrum. But, yeah, it's definitely weird. Yeah, Truth Trillette says trees standing with leaves still on them, yeah. Like, you have complete charred ruins next to completely unburned trees and bushes. I mean, this is crazy. Like, what is this? I mean, this is absolute craziness. So again, I do not claim anything is true or untrue. The motto of the podcast here, of course, is the only thing we know for sure is that we don't know anything for sure. So, yeah, I mean, what does everybody think? Let's do a poll. So let's see who in the chat thinks that this was some kind of energy weapon. I mean, this does not look like any natural fire I've ever seen. Truth Trillette says, looks like the steel beams have had the molecular structure reconfigured to bend like that. I mean, who knows what kind of what kind of temperature is required? And how could there be there's not even a singe on the wall next to, in the building next to it. Like, not even a little charred spot. Completely untouched bush and tree. I mean, it's just so weird. It's just so weird. I've never seen any kind of natural fires behaving like this. Like, completely melting down entire buildings and steel while leaving other buildings not even a small singe. If this was some kind of high wind pushing fire, you would think there would be at least some, like, black charred singe on walls. I mean, look at this untouched wall next to a completely melted down building. I mean, this is crazy. Like, it's spotless. Like, look at this building. The wall is completely spotless. Not even one little black singe. Not even, like, carried over black char or anything. This is crazy. I mean, look at this on the street, and yet this building, look at it. The front of the building, the side of the building, completely uncharred in any way. Not even debris blown on it. So what could cause this? If it was some kind of advanced weapon that operates extremely quickly, that could explain it, because then nothing would be carried. It would just vaporize whatever it was, whatever the target was. Big Pine Sailing says they must have been made of passport paper. Oh man, they should just make all buildings. Oh, for people that don't know the reference, let me bring that up on the screen. It's a shame those other goofs aren't in here, because a A lot of these anti-flat Earth grifters, I mean, they're just authority worshipping cultist bootleggers. They probably believe the official 9/11 narrative in violation of all the laws of physics. It's pretty curious. Yeah, let's look at this here. So at 9/11 here, so there's no turbine engines or indestructible flight recorders, but unscathed hijacker passports. I mean, look at that indestructible passport paper. Is this building here made of passport paper? And then the other building with the steel beams, they didn't use the passport paper? Is that what happened here? Is that what happened? So far in the chat, 58% say yes, some kind of an energy weapon. 0% say no, 42% too triggered to answer. Very understandable, too triggered to answer. Justin Johnson says, this is how you know it's real. No doubt, no doubt. Obviously no issues with the official narrative here. And I'm sure there won't be any issues with the official narrative of the LA fires, just like there's no issues with the official narrative at Lahaina. I mean, we can always trust the official narrative on the idiot box, right? I mean, why wouldn't you trust the official narrative? It's not like, you know, it's not like the government would ever lie to you about anything. Big Pine Stanley says, when they do controlled burns here in the refuge, that plot of land is all charred up. Well, yeah, I mean, I've seen even small fires in the woods. I mean, you know, there's a certain area of singe. It's not like magically charred and destroyed completely right next to untouched, pristine trees. You know, it's kind of weird. AC says, I wonder why they are burning down their puppets' mansion. So, obviously, the conspiracy theories have started flooding in. Is this P. Diddy related, and there's evidence, some kind of evidence, and then they wanted to take out a certain number of houses, and there's a lot of collateral damage to cover all that up? I don't know. I'm not claiming it's true or untrue. I mean, I don't know if, it seems like they probably wouldn't do it that way, but who knows? Just Reporting says, some, not all of the structures look more like something that was toppled. Strange. If it was some kind of direct energy weapon, if it didn't direct hit some of the buildings, but it partially hit, and then the structural integrity was completely compromised, maybe that's why it looks like that. Truth Trollette says, perhaps they crossed them in some way or were offered better, perhaps. Justin Johnson says, a bunch of children went missing. You mean in LA or in Lahaina? Lahaina's so sketchy. I mean, there's still not a lot of details of what happened, right? I think there was one documentary, like a short documentary, but it's kind of almost been memory holed. It's kind of like the Las Vegas incident, right? I mean, everybody talks about all these other incidents, but for whatever reason, the Las Vegas one was memory holed and Lahaina was memory holed. It's very curious which events are memory holed and which aren't. Truth Trollette says, smart cities to be put in. Ben holding to ramparts long science MTLQ. Says maybe internal strife or restructuring. Rune Sticker says maybe God is just doing a cleanup. I mean, it does look like Armageddon and end times, doesn't it? Sodom and Gomorrah, obviously the city of fallen angels. I mean, this kind of matches Sodom and Gomorrah, doesn't it? You know what else is weird? Like some of these random trees that are completely untouched. I mean, look at these completely obliterated buildings. And then you have untouched, completely untouched trees. I mean, look at this burned out car. Look at this bush right here. Completely untouched bush and trees next to a completely destroyed house and completely charred out car. I mean, it's crazy. This is really crazy stuff here. I mean, just absolutely crazy stuff. I mean, how are the trees surviving? If it's that high temperature and that severe of a fire to completely destroy homes, how are these trees, like, look at the leaves, like, completely unaffected? I don't know, none of this makes any sense. None of this really makes any sense. I don't know. Flat Bob says, I think we are looking at just one small part of a bigger narrative to put this country 6 feet under. I, for one, am sick of all the BS and propaganda and terrorism. Flat Bob also says, I feel like a war is coming. Been saying it for years, but it's closer than ever. Great tribulation, maybe. Well, Alex Jones has been predicting a civil war for quite some time. Okay, let's look at this other Alex Jones clip. This is his meltdown. I mean, that's just scary looking. This is his meltdown on Musk, and then we'll examine this and see what everybody thinks about it.
What the hell? What the hell? And he's exposing Jeffrey Epstein and the CIA. Hell, last week he put out tweets about the CIA at war with America. God almighty. Jones sold out retweeting that. God, I apologize to all of you. I'm sorry. I sold out. I tried to stop the pedophile rings, the giant Muslim kidnapping rings. I'm sorry. I kissed Elon Musk's ass. We're so close to getting the globalists. I want their throat. I want victory. And now you can see it. And you guys think you're going to harass Elon Musk and push him off of supporting Trump and divide Trump and Elon? You're not. We have already beaten your ass. Oh, let's continue. What? Muslim kidnapping rings. I'm sorry. I kissed Elon Musk's ass.
What a thespian. What a thespian. What a fantastic actor. You can go from crying to laughing. Has anybody ever gone from crying to laughing that fast? I mean, Alex Jones is setting records. He's setting records here. Setting absolute records. So basically, he got a lot of, I guess, unfavorable comments regarding him kind of shilling for Elon, I guess. And he responded this way. Now, again, I mean, this is really curious, too. Like, the Elon Musk enigma, heralded as some kind of high IQ genius. I mean, the guy bought his way into everything. I mean, just stealing other people's ideas, and then he never actually comes through on anything. I mean, I'm actually surprised the Cybertruck actually came out. But when it did, now it has a lot of problems, but whatever. And again, that's not even really his company. He bought into it. He bought everything, like Twitter or whatever. Call of the Womb says, looks like Joe Rogan right there. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, Alex Jones does look a little different. He lost a lot of weight. His face does look a bit different, but I don't know. Flat Bob says, real talk though, Alex Jones is a phenomenal actor. Yeah, I mentioned this before. If Hollywood was legit and not a cesspool of degenerate filth, you would have real art and real acting. I mean, Alex Jones would be, I mean, this guy would be in the pantheon of greats, no doubt, if not at the very top. I mean, who's a better actor? I mean, I know Seagal is good, but he doesn't have the range. I mean, I know it's blasphemy, but at least he hasn't demonstrated the range that Alex Jones has. Flat Bob says it'll be a multifaceted war, a war on the mind, a war of the soul, a war of tech, a war for information. So what does everybody think of Alex Jones kind of shilling for Musk? Would the old Alex Jones be a fan of Elon Musk or even Donald Trump for that matter? Or would he be warning about any authority figures or presidential figures? I don't ever remember him shilling for any president. Now, during Trump's first run, obviously, Trump's a non-politician, so, and he was possibly non-establishment, whether he's in the club or not, who knows, but he wasn't a politician like all the other guys. So you could say it kind of sort of made sense for his first run. Now, him partnering with Musk, this technocrat, I mean, it's a little weird. It definitely is weird. I kind of want to know, I kind of want to know what the old Alex Jones would have thought of Elon Musk. For some reason, I think he would be issuing warnings. You know, don't be deceived, Trojan horses, etc., brain microchips. Like, Alex Jones was against all of this chipping. Like, what does it... It really does seem like he's kind of shilling for Musk. Tara Jackson says, 20 years ago, I listened to Alex Jones on the radio in Kansas. I could barely get it in most of the time, but mostly I remembered him talking about Clinton preparing for the end. Yeah, I mean, he was one of the first to expose the Clintons as well, the Clinton crime family. But if you look at the slide that's happened in 20 years. I mean, Alex Jones is pretty on point about most of it. Runes Ticker says, it feels like all the main truthers have been compromised, including the flat earthers. Well, some people think Jones was always compromised. I mean, Jones is a real enigma. I mean, was this guy a shill? I brought forth the theory that he was a shill, and then he kind of had a conscience about it, and was kind of winking and blowing the whistle where he could, even though he was compromised, because he wants to be a real patriot. But I mean, that was one of my theories for the past few years. Now I'm not so sure. I mean, not that didn't happen. Maybe that did happen, and he did flip the script on his masters and controllers to a certain extent that he could. And yeah, now I don't know. Like, why is he bootlicking Musk? It really doesn't make any sense. Because even if he thinks Musk is good, wouldn't the old Jones have advocated for a cautionary approach, right? Like, it seems like he might be doing good things, but let's stay vigilant, eyes open, etc., etc. It seems like the old Jones would have taken that position. Matari Sensei says, one of my friend's takes was that he's in a tight position, so he's staying in Elon's graces because he could potentially help him out. Well, that's true, because Elon Musk actually blocked the InfoWars sale to a degree. You guys know about that, Russ, right? And it's also kind of weird because Musk didn't even want Jones back on Twitter after the Connecticut incident. And then apparently he changed his mind. I don't know. It's weird. So yeah, Elon Musk. So this is and again, it's not just InfoWars though. So apparently he blocked the sale to the Onion, and I don't understand all of the details here because obviously. I'll bring up the screenshot in a second for reference here. Always got the receipts here on Mindshock. For the people that are new, you guys missed these scientism bootlickers get absolutely eviscerated. Oh man, that was like the first half hour. Pretty funny. I'll do a clip of it and upload it. I mean, some of these goofs were spiraling on Twitter for hours. Alright, so here is, this was back, was it end of November, beginning of December. Elon Musk actually stepped in to block or at least the X account. So Musk flexes muscle to stop InfoWars X account sale to the Onion. So, again, I don't know what this has to do with Infowars.com or the rest of the sale, but apparently Musk did flex and said at least he's not handing over the X account. Nothing has been handed over. It's kind of been kicked up to a whatever court, because apparently there was a lot of funny business in the sale in the first place. And I don't even know what's going on. I think Jones filed a countersuit against the Sandy Hook parents as well. Obviously, all this stuff takes years and years to resolve. I don't think he's paid a single penny to any of them. And then this sale, the InfoWars sale, got blocked, so who knows what's even happening. But apparently, yeah, Musk stepped in, so this is kind of weird, because apparently Musk didn't like Jones. And then Musk steps in to block the InfoWars sale. So now is that why Jones is shilling for Musk? I mean, this is just weird. Big Pine Sailing says, I haven't paid any attention to Jones, but hitting him with that lawsuit is total psyop. Kill the Bank says, so how about that? Alex Jones warned us 15 years ago. Now he's all for it, it seems. Well, I don't think he said he's for the microchip. It's just weird how he's for Musk, who is for microchips. Okay. So yeah. I mean, I really don't know, but I think, yeah, I just have a hard time believing that the old Jones would toe the line for any kind of mainstream figure like this, like Musk. And Jones does his research. He must know that Musk bought his way into everything and he's not like an actual genius at anything. So it seems like the old Jones would have called that out and said, remain cautious, make sure it's not a Trojan horse, etc., etc. Same thing for Trump, actually. All right, so who's ready? So does anybody have any other Q&As? Because I do have a very, very special clip here to round out this Q&A. We got the ball rolling. We got the ball rolling in the Tim Pool Flat Earth Culture War podcast, but we're going to finish it here. Madari Sensor says, did you play the Tim Allen sounds? That's what it is. We are gonna... I Am Iron's Cat says, Joe Rogan prediction for the fires. What do you mean prediction? You know what's weird? All the people just obsessing over the so-called final experiment, which isn't even scientific. I mean, whatever happened, I mean, how does that affect the shape of the Earth? Again, if it's some kind of planetarium, whatever's going on in the sky doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the surface you're standing on. So it's kind of weird. But anyway, let's try to focus here. Joe Rogan 2240 at 410. Okay, I Am Iron's Cat has a request here. Let me double check this and then we'll get to our finale, our Tim Allen finale. It's a very special clip, actually 2 clips. Okay, so apparently Roger Avery and Quentin Tarantino predicted a program for that. Yeah, I can't stand Tarantino. I mean, that guy's a definition of a Hollywood hack. I mean, even Elon Musk isn't as much of a hack as Tarantino. What a scumbag. You just get scumbag vibes from Tarantino. I mean, I don't understand how anybody could stomach that individual or be a fan of him. But that's just me. I guess that's just me. Gross. It's gross. And especially healthcare insurance. Fucking gross. Well, actually, all insurance. I live in California, and all of a sudden... Alright, I got the clip. Just give me a second. Put it on the screen. So apparently there's an insurance conspiracy as well. That's interesting. Yeah, I haven't seen this. Like I said, I can't stomach Tarantino, but this is a live Q&A. And I try to address every single question here. So let's see here. I mean, I don't know if... Well, let's see. Let's see what they say.
Well, actually, all insurance. I live in California. Actually, all insurance. I live in California, and all of a sudden, because I live adjacent to any kind of open space, like nobody will insure my house because of fire.
Right.
And so suddenly it's like I have a house that's uninsurable, and it's not just me; it's everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's chaos.
Yeah, I have a
chaos.
friend who's trying to sell a house in California, and it turned out it was $125,000 a year just to get fire insurance.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, it's insane.
It's fucking nuts.
It's insane.
Yeah, but, you know, I was evacuated 3 times when I lived there. I used to live in Bell Canyon, and, you know, it was fucking... It was rough.
I've been really lucky. I'm almost afraid to say it, all right, because I've been living in the Hollywood Hills, and I've never, any of the fire stuff never happened around me.
It is just luck. Yeah.
I mean, the benefit of your place is you're at least in a helicopter accessible.
Well, that is
they're
true.
just going to dump all that fire retardant right on top of you.
I literally am kind of at the top of the hill on a bunch of rock.
Yeah.
All right, so if the whole fucking
that's
place
nice.
it turns into an inferno, I'm still fucked.
And that
Is it just me, or does this guy look, talk, and walk like some kind of crack fiend? I mean, look at him. I mean, this guy's as degenerate as you can get. I mean, look at this degenerate. I mean, he looks like a crack fiend. He talks like a crack fiend. I mean, everything about him screams crack fiend. But yeah, I mean, it's a little curious that they're talking about that. He also said that he's never been evacuated. There's never been a severe issue in his particular area. I mean, is that a coincidence? I don't know.
that place has probably been there a while.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
probably
yeah.
withstood all sorts of calamity.
Yeah, when I was filming Fear Factor, I talked to this guy who was a fire guy for the fire department. He said, it's just going to be a matter of time. There's going to be one day where a fire hits L.A., and the wind is the right way, and we're not going to be able to stop it. It's just going to burn right through to the ocean. He goes, it's just a matter of time. We all know it. I was like, what the fuck, dude? I go, the whole city? He goes, the whole city. He goes, when those big fires get going, there's not a damn thing. Like what happened in Malibu a few years back? Like those are... I always thought Malibu, those rich people...
Well,
they're
that
gonna
was the
protect them.
closest. Yeah,
Maui.
That was
Maui's
like around
insane.
'93. That actually happened while we were shooting Pulp Fiction.
Really?
Yeah, well, there was a big
Malibu
Malibu
fire.
fire. The big
Yeah.
Malibu fire happened while we were shooting Pulp Fiction. So we actually set up a TV on the set because Bruce Willis was going to maybe lose his house, and so he was like actually.
I haven't seen anything with Tarantino in a while. Like he's visibly shaking here. I mean, does he have a medical issue? I mean, how much drugs did this guy do? It looks like he can't even function properly. I mean, he's shaking and stuttering. I mean, this is crazy. Imon's cat says this was 3 weeks ago, the Tarantino podcast. Big Pine Sailing says, dude has so much money, think of the biscuits that dude cooking. Rune Sticker says they have access to the purest Coke. I think it might be a lot more than Coke. I mean, this guy just does not seem to be able to function. Flap Up says, how many drugs did he do? All of them. I mean, back in the day when he was younger, at least he could kind of talk semi-normally. But, I mean, he looks completely mentally gone here.
So we have this little TV area, so we could so in between takes we can watch what's going on with the fire. And they're like, and there was all these reports that no, Bruce Willis and his family are on top of the house with their water hose. I go, no, he's not. He's right here.
Well, the thing is, fires were normal. Like it used to be when I was young. I grew up in California, and so when I was young, fires would burn through Malibu constantly. But now they put all those houses in there where there never were houses, because the fire is a natural process. It kind of clears the land, cleans the land, and it's normal actually. But when you put all that kindling in there, suddenly we end up with these like superstorms of fire, just where everything's just going crazy.
Yeah.
I think it's overdevelopment, which is the cause of these insane kind of fires that we're getting.
Yeah, but it's a cool place to live.
Yeah.
You're not going to stop people from developing in Malibu.
Rogan is such a goof. Like his goofery, like I always find his goofery amusing. I mean, look at that. You can tell there's just not much going on upstairs. Yeah, that's funny. Austin Johnson says adrenochrome, perhaps. Oh man, what a rabbit hole. Hi, Mayans Cat says he talks like a meth addict. He sure does. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of weird because the fires of the past, again, other than Lahaina and this new LA fire, I don't remember there being complete decimation of steel buildings right next to completely unsinged bushes and unscathed walls in any way. I mean, it's just weird.
It's just too nice.
No, you're not.
You just take your chances, roll your dice.
Yeah. Well, but you roll your dice. You take your chances and you roll your dice no matter where you live.
Yeah, it's just fucked up when it happens. Like,
Oh my God, yeah.
I drove home once. We were filming Fear Factor. We had to stop the set early because the fire was so bad. This was like 2003 or something like 4, and driving home, it took me 55 minutes on the 5 to get home, and the entire time the right side of the highway was on fire for 55 minutes. Everything, like Lord of the Rings style.
So 3 different times you got evacuated from your house?
Yeah,
So,
3 different times.
And so what is okay, so you decide what you're going to take with you kind of thing?
Yeah, the last time was the last time. It was like, the last big fire in LA. And I came home from the Comedy Store at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and my wife and I are looking out the window, and the fire's like maybe 500 or 600 yards away, and it's coming over the hill. And we were looking at each other. I said, "Let's just get the fuck out of here before it gets
right
bad.
on.
Let's just get out of here now." So we grabbed the kids, got a laptop, took some clothes. I didn't even have underwear. I said we could just buy stuff. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
Who cares?
If you have your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't see anything here that's that damning. I mean, it is curious that they're talking about it a couple weeks later. Worst LA fire ever. I mean, it is kind of weird. In the chat here, Rune's Ticker says, looking at videos of the wreckage in LA, looks like the photos of the aftermath of the alleged fires throughout America in the 1800s. That's a good point. John Levi and some of these Tartaria mudflood researchers, some of these old photos also show the same thing. Like there's completely untouched buildings just spread out and then completely destroyed everything next to it. It is kind of weird. Who knows how long energy weapons have been used throughout history. I mean, even in the ancient Hindu texts, they talk about, Vimanas and then all these cosmic weapons with mass destruction, etc. So, all right. I mean, if there's no other questions here, we're going to round this out with some Tim Allen.
Craftsman. What happened to my eyeliner pencil? Well, the phone rang. I couldn't find anything else to write. So I ordered the Ren 2000 Power Home Grinder. Oh, no. I got those needle nose, vice gripping monkey motherfuckers will cut right. I mean, you've been there. You build something like that and you're done. You got a real little bag of important looking shit left over. Oh, no. Come on, bitch, break something. I'm gonna spackle that fucker shut, son. That's what I'll do right now. Did you walk on that floor?
Who here hasn't seen some of Tim Allen's old stand-up? I mean, it is highly questionable with a lot of profanity, almost like Bob Saget vibes, because a lot of people think that these guys did family shows, that their comedy was, like, clean or something, but, I mean, this is pretty funny. This is pretty crazy.
Whoa! You can't put a dirty dish in a dishwasher! You've gotta wash the dish, then you put it in. I'm gonna wipe my butt and take a shit. What the hell's the matter? Hey. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Bullshit. Yeah. That's bullshit, man. No power. Women get silly all the time, they do. Wanted me to buy her a fur coat one time. She came home nude, borrowed one, was nude underneath like sex would sell it. She went, "Hi, honey. Where'd you get that goddamn coat?" She won't give a honey. Don't mess it up, we're taking that thing back. So now she's all upset all week like I don't like her body. Oh, like she'd buy me a Ferrari if I show up, open the door, I'm butt naked in there. Hey! Where'd you get the car? Hey! Yeah. Oh. Naked in there. Oh.
I mean, this Tim Allen has mastered the art of grunting, like Steven Seagal has mastered the art of running. I mean, the diversity of grunts here is just unprecedented. I mean, does Tim Allen really get the recognition he deserves for pioneering grunt diversity? I mean, we've never seen anything like that. Matari Sensei says it's like a language. Yeah, someone commented on the stand-up video on YouTube. Tim Allen just grunting is funnier than anything Amy Schumer has ever done. Lord Zed says definitely the MJ of grunting. I mean, we haven't really seen Seagal try his hand at grunting, but that would be curious. Can you imagine Tim Allen and Steven Seagal in a movie? I mean, wow, that would be truly legendary. Oh, man, that would be absolutely legendary. Is anybody surprised they actually haven't worked together yet? Steven Seagal should have guest starred on Home Improvement. How good would that have been? Steven Seagal on Home Improvement. Oh, man. Wow. That's really funny. All right. So, yeah, the grunt diversity, really, really legendary here. Flat Bob says Seagal and Tim Allen grunting in a roller jam. What is that, bout? Yeah, Seagal and Tim Allen in roller jam would be great. Lord Zed says, I could see Wilson knowing Seagal. Yeah, that's true. You could totally see him like Seagal as some kind of house guest of Wilson. Oh, man. Yeah, that would be great. That would be great. All right, well, that's it for now. We got plenty more to come. I'm trying to get the archive back online. Almost there. Some of the longer series like Maura Murray and Stephen Avery, it's going to take a little bit more time, but getting there, getting there. There are premieres every single day. So we'll get there soon, and then I'll be unleashing more of the new content. Thanks again, everybody, for joining us. Another edition of Mindshock Live Q&A. If you want to help support the podcast, help logic and reason return to a world that is quickly going extinct, you can donate to our PayPal. Just check the link in the description. Make sure you're subscribed, like, and share. Twitter, Facebook, Reddit, and Patreon. This is Bruce McGuire signing off. Catch you guys next time.